Hi, beautiful people. So today I'm gonna make for you some stew peas. And stew peas is Jamaican, or if you're from the Caribbean, you know that stew peas is made with beef and kidney beans. So I'm gonna start off today by pouring some oil in a pan. I hope that is not too much. And just let it heat up a bit, and then I'm going to put the meat in there. So I just want to show to you I've got some beef, and I bought it in the supermarket, and I cut off most of the fat, lean beef, and I've got some spices for you. So here I've got just Spanish pepper, so it's not very hot, just red pepper, it's not very hot. And I've got some black pepper, and I've got some pimenta, some garlic, I've got some onions, I've got some thyme, bay leaf, and this is I don't know if you can see it, this is a Jamaican spice. You can buy that here in Holland. And it's like a Chinese five spice. It's got everything in it, but then from the Caribbean. So I imagine that it would have some of these ingredients in it as well. And so that's gonna go into the meat. And what I've also put some of this barbecue seasoning in it, which is very, very nice. Got lots of flavor. And then, I've come in with the all-purpose Dun River seasoning, also nice. And this is ginger, garlic, pimento, which I've got fresh. And that's also, it's gonna go in there. So now the pan is quite hot. I'm gonna just put the meat in. So this is the part where you need to be very careful. And let me tell you something. Normally, when you're making stew peas, you don't really need to brown the meat like I'm doing now. So I'm just slightly browning it. I'm not going to brown it until it's really, really crispy brown like when you're making a stew. So this is just going to be lightly browning. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I haven't got any fresh kidney beans. Well, I went to the shop and I tried to get some fresh kidney beans and they didn't have any, so I ended up just buying a tin of beans. So I've got 2 tins. They're 2 different types, but it doesn't matter, mix it up a bit. So I've got 2 tins of kidney beans to go in there, and that's why I'm really browning the meat, because normally you would put the fresh kidney beans, you put the fresh kidney beans to soak overnight, and then you throw that water off, and then you boil it, and after about half an hour you'll see like some surface floating on top, and then you skim that off and put a lid on the pot and let it boil for a while. So I don't need to be doing that today, so that's why I'm just making the meat a little bit brown. So I'm just going to turn it over now. Oh, I think I lost a bit of meat there, but no worries. Everything is clean, so it's going back in the pan. There you go. Probably that one is going to taste the nicest. Yes, I know. People used to say, how can you do that? Just stick your fingers in the cooking. But I've been a cook for years, so I'm used to that. So let me just show you this now. Look at that. That's getting a little bit brown. So we just leave it there for a couple more minutes, and then we'll get back to that. So this is a better tool to use. So there you go, and they're getting there. They're getting a little bit brown. I'll just give it just a few more minutes, and then I'll put the seasoning in. Okay, so it's brown enough. I don't want it to get much browner than that. So now I'm gonna put in all the seasoning, and it doesn't matter what order I put it in. So these, like I said, these are Spanish pepper. They are not very hot. And these are onions, so I'm putting the onions in there. And these are just cubes of stock, and I'll just drop those in there. Those are the garlic, pimento, the like Caribbean 5-spice, and this is all that barbecue seasoning. So after, and here I had some bay leaf and thyme, so I just put everything in there. And then I'm just going to shake it up. Whoa. So, just shake it up. So that's good. Let me get you a little bit closer in so you can see what's happening there. Look at it. So now I'm going to throw a little bit of water on that. So I've just turned the fire down a little bit, and I'm just going to throw a little bit of water. And you notice I don't throw the water on top. I just throw it on the side so I can get all those lovely caramel. There we go. So I poured the water on it, and the word I was searching for is caramelization. So all the lovely bits just get into it, and I'm gonna leave it to simmer probably for about 20 minutes, half an hour. And then I'll come back and put some more spices in it, and then I'll leave it to cook until the meat is soft, and that's roughly about an hour. So I'll get back to you in a bit. So the meat has been cooking for about half an hour, so I'm just going to pour some more. And I always pour, like I said, hot water, never cold water, because if you pour cold water in this, it'll just bring the temperature down, and that means the process has to start all over again. So I just had hot water, and never pour it on top. I always pour it around the side, because if I pour it on top, I'll take the color away from the meat. And I like, when I'm eating stew, I like the meat to have a little bit of color in it. So now you know. I haven't got a lid to fit this pan because it's more like a frying pan. So what I've done is just to put a little bit of aluminium foil on top of it, and that'll just keep the steam in and help it to carry on cooking. So here I am again, and I'm just waiting for the meat to cook off. But in the meantime, I thought to myself, well, let me do the rice. So I'm gonna wash the rice. So this is the rice for the stew piece of rice. So I'm gonna do about 2.5 cups of rice. So there you go. So that's 2.5 cups of rice. And I'm gonna wash it. I'm gonna wash it a few times. And I'll actually, the last time I'll just leave the water in it and let the water just stay there for about 10 minutes before I start cooking it and throw it off. And I mean, you know, I'm a Jamaican girl, so back home when we used to wash the rice, I can remember old folks saying, well, you know, if they leave the rice soaking for a while, it becomes more. So it'll increase in volumes. So I'm just gonna wash it. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just washing it, and I'm gonna throw that water away, and I'm gonna do the same, and I'm going to do that for about 3 times. So like I said, I've washed the rice 3 times. I let it stand a bit in the water, and then I threw that water away. Just put the rice in the pan and just put some salt in it, and I'm just dropping a little bit of butter in it for taste. Now, with rice cooking, the rice, so I had like 2.5 cups of rice. It doesn't matter. I've washed my rice, it's in my pan. So, how to cook rice? I know, because I just generally know how much water I need to put in it. But if I put my finger in it and touching the rice, the water comes up to about here. So just by the second knuckle and my finger, I stick it in and the water comes up to here. So then I know it's going to cook my rice. But anyway, you don't have to panic about cooking rice, because if you for every 1 cup of rice you put 1.5 cup of water, or just put 1 cup of water, it's better to have too little water of too much water than too little water. So that's the way you do it. And you know, it's just trial and error. You just have to try it out until it works out for you. Sometimes you probably end up eating porridge, but you know, it tastes nice too. So I'm going to put a lid on rice, and I've turned it up as high as possible. And then when it boils, after about 6 minutes, when the water starts to boil, then you turn it down as low as possible and just let it simmer. You can also, when the water is boiled, if you're just cooking rice on its own, when the water is boiled, you can just take it off and just wrap it in a couple of kitchen towels, make sure you wrap it, and then you just leave it there for like 20 minutes, and when you come back, your rice should be cooked. So that's an easy way of cooking rice, because I hate seeing some people cook rice by just pouring a whole heap of water on the rice, and 20 minutes later they go and drain it off. I mean, come on, you're just draining all the niceness away. So that's not the way, not in my eyes, that's not the way to cook rice. One of these ways should be good. So the meat has been cooking for about 1 hour and 10 minutes now, and so I think this is the last amount of water I'm going to put in it now, because we're nearly there. It's nearly soft, and it's really important for you to understand the meat, how long it's going to take to cook, because different section of meat takes longer. It depends. I mean, if you're cooking a steak, you know, a steak would take like a couple of minutes to cook, but this is a different part of the animal, so it takes longer to cook. So just keep on testing it. Just break a little bit off and just taste it, but you want this to be really, really soft. So I'm gonna go in with some scallion. This is like spring onions, they call it in some other country, and I'm just gonna add a couple of teaspoons of tomato. I mean, this still got a way to go, so I just add some tomato. It's not usual, because I don't usually put tomato in it, but I just think, you know, give it a different give it a different style. And I'm just gonna let that stay and cook for a while, but I'll just show you. So this, the coconut cream, this is good actually, because with this packet, there's 3 separate coconut cream. So I'm gonna put that much in it after about 20 minutes, and if I need more, then I can always put more. And let me just show you, this is the peas, the kidney bean, that was in a tin. I've took it out of the tin and I've washed it. No, I've got 2 tins. So the first tin, I washed it because I wanted to get rid of the grain. I didn't want to use the brine. And this one it's Ampitica Blikkie. This is Dutch, and this one is got the sauce is a little bit fiery, and you can see it's different. It's not what normal like the brine. So I'm going to use those two tins, and I'm just going to blend it together and just let this just carry on cooking. And yeah, we'll get back to that in a bit. And what I'm also going to make, because you can't have stew peas and rice without dumplings. So I'm going to make the dumpling with some flour, and basically it's just flour, a tiny bit of salt and water. I mean, sometimes I do put a little bit of butter in it just to make it so much yummier. I'm going to think about that. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't do it. But you know, that's at the last minute when everything is coming together. So I'll show you that in a bit. So here I am again. It's looking good. So the meat is quite soft. It's not completely there yet, but it's quite soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with throwing the kidney beans in, and this other one, it's a bit thicker. Oops, because let me get that out, because it's got like a sauce, a spicy sauce on it as well. So let me just stir that up. Like I said, the meat is not completely there, but then I put the kidney beans in at this stage, so the flavor from the beans will get into the sauce and the meat and everything. And here I'm going to put one of the concentrated coconut in it. There we go. So I'll put that in it, and I'll get it to melt. And when it's melted, then I'll know for myself if I need to put anything else with it. And here's the rice. The rice is cooking away. It's looking good. It's bubbling. So when it all comes together, you're going to see. So this is Jamaican style rice and peas, and I'm going to make a little bit of dumpling and to add to it, so you'll see that in a bit. Okay, darlings, so it's time to make the dumpling, and I'm just going to use 3 heaped tablespoons, so that much. So I put a tiny bit of salt in it, and then I'm just gonna put some water in it and just mix it. So basically just mix it up like a dough, and this is a little bit dry, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to it. There you go, and just keep mixing it. Just keep mixing it. It's just a dough, basically. Just made flour and water. It's quite simple. So you just keep mixing it until it has the same consistency. And I mean, I don't like putting my hands in it, so I always finish it with the spoon. So I'm gonna add the dumpling to it now. And like I say, I just use it like that. Just like that. It's a little bit sticky, so it's not doing what it's supposed to do. But basically, I just put it in like that. So And the last one. Where am I going to put it? Did you put it over here? Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to let them sink in so I get them to cook. There you go. It's you know, it's just similar to like a wonton, you know, Chinese wonton. It's just flour. So, and the good thing about it as well, because it's flour, it'll make this a little bit thicker. So we're getting there. This is near the last little bit. So I just let it finish itself off, cook down a little bit less juice sauce. And the rice is finished, and let's have a look at it. Oh, look at that. Oh, fluffy rice. Gorgeous. So there it is. It's nearly finished. So we've got Jamaican rice and peas. And not only peas, because we've got meat in it as well. So I'm going to dish up and then you can see. So here it is. Doesn't it look good? Jamaican rice and peas, kidney beans, beef, dumpling, and lots of gorgeous Jamaican spice. I hope you can follow my recipe and try to make it one day for yourself. I'm sure you're gonna like it because I'm just gonna enjoy this. Bye bye, thanks for watching. And if you got any comments, leave them down below. Or if you liked, please like it, because then it will just open my heart to keep making more dishes for you. Thank you very much.